Hi, it's Kathy with Inking It Up with Kathy.blogspot.com, an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card. The first time I saw this card was on Dawn Griffith's website, and I thought it was so cute. She calls it a double gatefold card, and I'll show you why. You open it up this way, and there are two gatefolds that both open up this way. Isn't that cute? So let me show you how to make this card. First, I'll be using the Christmas Pines stamp set and the matching framelits, okay? I'm going to take a piece of 8.5 by 11 cherry cobbler paper, and I am going to score it. Move my cutting piece out of the way and set this up so you can see my measurements. There we go. And we're going to score at 2 3/4, just like that. Spin it around, and again 2 3/4. And then I'm going to turn it lengthwise. At 4 1/4, and I am only going to score between those two. So I'll come up here like that, and then on the 2 3/4 portion, I'm going to bring it down here. This 2 3/4 portion at the top here, I'm actually going to cut down to that score line, just like that. And then I'm going to come back to this bottom section and find that score, and from that point I'm going to cut down. Let me put my cutter away and get it out of our way because we're done with that. So what you can see is I've got score lines here and score lines here, a score line down the center here, and then cut lines on either side. Now I'm going to fold it lengthwise and try and keep that as straight as possible, and get a bone folder and press that down real well. Now, because of the bulk of this, you need to trim off just a little bit here. So you'll start about somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/18 of an inch. Let's see if I can get in there where you can see that well. About that much. And then I'm going to work up to that score point. So I'm going to take this, not quite that much, about like that. And I'm just going to trim that on off till I get to that point and work my way up. So I have this little bit off here, just like that. Then I'm going to do it on the other side. And that allows for that last fold to not pinch your paper. And take those off as well. So now when I open it up, you'll see there's a little bit of a gap on either side here. So now we're going to just fold these in like this and use your bone folder. How easy is that? And then you'll be folding it closed just like that. So the card base is all ready to go. So let's start decorating. Okay, now that we have our card all cut and our little edge pieces here cut out so that it'll fold, let's start assembling this card. So the first thing we want to assemble is our designer series papers, which will go on these outside flaps. And I am using the This Christmas designer series paper from the main catalog. These pieces all measure 2.5 inches by 4 inches, and you'll have 2 of 4 different designs. So I've got 2 of each of these 4 designs. Just like that. Okay, so on the inside of the card, I'm going to put these 2 patterns. And I'll put this one up here and put its matching one down here in the bottom. And then I'll take these 2 and put those in the opposite. 2. Okay, now we'll close those up and we'll do them here. So we've got 2 of each pattern. So I'll take this one and place it down here. And since that's in the bottom corner, I'm going to put this one up in the top corner. And take these 2. Place this one here. And place this one here. So I'm going to take the 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and we're going to put it in here, and we're going to punch through all 3 of these layers down here at near the bottom, but centered. So I'm going to place this in here, and I'll leave some down here at the bottom, and then just kind of try and eyeball and center here. If you really like to be perfect, then use a pencil and mark it, but I'm good with that. And then I'm going to go again to the opposite side and do the same thing. Just like that. Okay. So now I have peekaboo windows in this one here and this one here. So now I want to put some frames on those. So how I do that is you'll take the 1 3/4 inch circle punch and also the 1 3/8, and you're going to do the 1 3/8 first, and you're going to kind of do it on your paper centered, just like that. And then you'll come back with the 1 3/4 and go just right over the top of that, making sure that all the area here all lines up about even. And if you're not perfect, that's all right. And there you get your oval or circle with the cutout in it. And so I have 4 of those already done here. And I'm just going to take some liquid glue, because that's the easiest, and put a little bit of that around the outside edges of them. Just like that. Okay, and those will go into the 4 locations. So here, and then open it up and place one here. Turn it around and do the same over here. Place one here. And place one here. Okay. So now we can work on the inside pieces. So for the top, I have a piece of garden green that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and that's just going to go down right up top here, like that. Then I've got one that is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, and I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper out to stamp on. Let's see, here we go. And I'm going to take the Christmas Pines stamp set and take the pine boughs, the one that does not have the stems. Okay, if you look at them carefully, one just has the leaves and the other one here has the stem. So we're going to start with the one that's just the leaves, and in Pear Pizzazz, I'm just going to stamp in this top left corner. And then I'll set that to the side and come back with the garden green ink and the one that does have the stems, and stamp that. And I've purposely not set it exactly over because I want that double shading to my leaves. Okay, and then I had taken and stamped this little pine cone with cherry cobbler ink and then cut it out with the framelit. And I'm going to place that right here. And I have a little bow that I've tied with the linen thread, and that's going to go right on top here and get glued to it right there. And I'm going to set that aside for a few minutes to let it adhere. So on the bottom piece, I've got a Whisper White, I'm sorry, not Whisper White, a Very Vanilla piece, and I'm going to take the Presents and Pine Cones washi tape and put a piece down along the bottom edge. Like that. And I'm going to take the sentiment from the Christmas Pines stamp set that says, "May the simple joys of the season be yours," and I'm going to put it up here in the top right, just like that. And I'll go ahead and put adhesive on this one. And put that on the inside here. And I think I can bring this back in. I think it's adhered enough that I could go ahead and glue this one down right in here as well. I'm going to take this little leaf sprig that was part of the Perfect Pines framelits, and let's just use liquid glue for this, and I'm just going to glue it to a piece of Very Vanilla that has been punched out with that 1 3/8 inch punch. and glue that down. Then I'll take some scissors and trim it off, the little stem, and then attach that to a cherry cobbler piece that is punched out with the 1 3/4 inch punch. I'm then going to put that on there. I'm going to put adhesive on the back of it. And I'm going to set it inside this circle here, just like that. So you can see it there, just like that. And that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to that there and then close that down, and that will secure this onto here exactly where I want it to be. Just like that. And then I'll take one that is the Very Vanilla and Garden Green, not Very Vanilla, I'm sorry, Cherry Cobbler, and place that down like that. And again, I'm going to put adhesive on the back, place it in my circle, turn it and close it down, and then my piece is exactly where I want it to be. For that one, I'm going to take another one of these little pine cones, and this time with this one I'm going to put it up on a dimensional. And I'll close this so that I make sure that I don't have it fit where it will hang up on the circle here. Place that, and again take a piece or a little bit of liquid glue and another little linen thread bow and place that there. And now we'll start working on the outside while we let that dry. So for the outside, I'm going to have a piece of the Garden Green, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and the DSP, which is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And here's one tip. Use this piece that's going to be totally covered. Nobody will ever know that you've cut some pieces out of it. So like I cut this sprig here, and then I have cut some other pieces that we're going to be using for the front. Save your paper. We don't even have to use this piece because we can just take this and secure it down on top and save all that paper. So we'll place that down there like that. Okay, now I'm going to take a strip that is 5 inches long by 1/2 inch wide. Take some Cherry Cobbler ink, and this is the 'Tis the Season stamp from that same Christmas Pines set, and I'm going to stamp that on that just like that. And I'm going to glue that down onto a piece of Garden Green, which is 3/4 inches wide by the 5 inches, just like that. Take a piece of the Cherry Cobbler Baker's Twine and one of the little pine cone embellishments. I'm going to thread that on here. And tie it in a bow. Now actually what I would do is tie it this first part, half of your bow first, like this. And this way your little pine cone won't accidentally slide down to the bottom or anything. This is a way of keeping it up in the center. And we're going to just thread that through there. And I'm not getting that, so let me trim that a little bit. It's starting to fray. There we go. All right. So now we can tie our bow as tight as we possibly can. Get my nail down there. And if you're not, whoops, naturally on camera I'm not doing a bow very well. Normally I'm the bow tire in my classes. Everybody hands their things off to me to do their bows. But if you can't get it tight enough, you can always trim it back, cut it back here, and then retape it to get it tight enough. But I think we did okay this time. Okay, so then this piece here, I'm going to go ahead and use fast fuse on because of that embellishment. It's a little heavier, and so I want to make sure that this doesn't fall off. So I'll use and make sure that I get some fast fuse there. And this is going to come and be placed down here near the bottom. Like that. Then I have the largest scallop oval cut with the cherry cobbler, and then this piece is the third largest of the ovals and of the layering ovals, and then it was run through the Big Shot with the holly embossing folder. So I'll put that here, and just to make it a little more interesting, I'm going to get my Wink of Stella and just color real quickly the holly and the berries. Just make it shine just a little bit. Just like that. Most of it will be covered up anyway. And then I can take some dimensionals. Place this up here. And then onto that, I'm going to do a couple of the pine cones and some of the sprigs. But I thought I'd give you some tips on adhering these fine die pieces to your others, you know, so that you're not trying to touch each of these with either the fine tip glue or the liquid glue. Now, I saw this recommendation. I thought, you know, it would work, but it's going to be one that you don't want to do in for me in a class environment or something like that, because it's a bit on the messy side. But if you take your multi-glue with the other end and squirt out some glue like that, and then just kind of spread it out a little ways on your silicone mat, so you get a thin amount of glue, okay? You can take your piece, press it down into the glue like that, and you really want to be careful not to pick that up too much and put it back on the outside, and gently pick it up, and you'll see that there's glue all over the back side, and place it down on there. And then what I would do is either take your brayer or maybe the back side and just really press it well. And there you go. It's nice and glued down. It's not too sticky, but now you do have to remember to go back and clean up this mat. The other idea is to take your paper and place some tear and tape on it before you cut it out. And so like this one, you can see I put a couple of pieces of the tear and tape on the back. So you would put the framelit here face down on it. So this is the back. And then you can peel these off like this. And that too works really quite well. So there's two options on getting those little very intricate dies onto another piece of paper. Okay, now we're going to build our grouping of pine cones. So we'll take this one and place it here with this one. And then I'm just going to start placing these on the back. Like this. And I'll take the largest one and kind of decide how I want it, where I want it to be, because that's going to be the big one that is going to take up the most room, and you don't want it covering anything. So we'll put that one there. We'll take and put one down here, short, and then our final one up above. So I'm just using glue dots. I find that they're the best for getting these to all glue down to each other, just like that. And then I'll take some dimensionals once it's all together and put those on here like this. Press them down there real well. Pull this off. Put it on my card here. And fold my card all up. And glue this down, and because there is so much on the front of it, I'm going to go ahead and use my fast fuse just to be safe. And then my final thing that I'll want to do on this card is to tie a little cherry cobbler bow with the twine. Like that. And glue that up here. And clear my space. And here's your card, which opens up to here and opens up to here.